slides, but you just heard your congressman speak for 25 minutes without a single note or a single PowerPoint slide. Thanks, Ryan. Our next speaker is a friend of mine. As I mentioned earlier, I've known the old Coyote family since my grade school days, going to Longfellow School in Bozeman. Darrin Old Coyote is the 21st chairman of the executive branch of the Crow Nation. You realize when we have conversations with Indian country, with a tribe, it's a sovereign nation. It is a nation-to-nation conversation. That's the way I view it. As a United States Senator, when I have a conversation with Chairman Darrin Old Coyote, this is somebody from the United States having a conversation with the sovereign Crow Nation. The Crow Reservation is home to some of the richest coal deposits in Montana. In addition, the Crow Nation is currently developing hydropower. So once again, you don't have to go very far in a part of Montana. The Crow Reservation is one of those where you have this all-of-the-above energy portfolio. You have renewables and hydropower as well as coal. Unemployment, as Chairman Old Coyote mentioned earlier, is currently around 32% on the reservation. Without coal production, without the jobs at the Asalaga mine, unemployment on the reservation will reach 80%. Chairman Old Coyote has an unparalleled perspective as a leader of one of Montana's tribes that depends largely on coal for tax revenue and for their jobs. Chairman Old Coyote has dedicated his life to serving the Crow Nation, and I look forward to hearing his important perspective on the future of Indian coal. Please welcome Chairman Darrin Old Coyote.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Crow people, I'm very fortunate to speak on behalf of the Crow people on the future of energy, not only in Crow, but in Montana as well. Currently, we have, this is a different perspective from a lot of the people, the way you view energy. And this is from a Crow perspective. First off, the Crow people, to understand who we are, where we come from, why we do the things we do, to know me is to respect me. And with that, in 1825, the Crow people signed a treaty with the U.S. government, a friendship treaty, where they said we would be friends moving forward. In 1851, they signed another treaty at Fort Laramie, which reduced the Crow Reservation to 8 million acres. It was around 50 million acres, half of Montana, half of Wyoming was Crow tribe. In 1851, it was reduced to 8 million acres, establishing a first Crow agency near Livingston. And you probably saw in a paper where the Crow agency was just purchased, the site of the first agency was just purchased by a preservation group. And then there was further cessions and agreements, 1882, 1891, 1904, and ceded area north of the current boundary to the Yellowstone River, and reduced the Crow Reservation to currently 2.2 million acres. So from in 1825, which we had 50 million acres, down to 8 million acres, now 2.2 million acres. So all the energy, all the coal in Wyoming and Montana was traditionally Crow land. All the Powder River Basin that a lot of people talk about, at one time belonged to the Crow people. And in 2004, I was first elected as vice secretary. I served under the late Chairman Van. And one of his famous quotes is, "We've been giving and giving and giving, and it's time to take our stand and contribute and be also part of this government." The Crow government was, at a young boy, they started training warriors at a young age. They would go on war parties referred to as Ichikada, or warrior's helper, and that's where the training began. And it went on to, there was 4 requirements to become a chief of the Crow. One was to strike an enemy in battle, take an enemy's weapon in battle, take a prized horse from the enemy, and lead a successful war party. Those 4 deeds would, and then they would become what we refer to as Bajecha, the good man or the chief. And then there was all the chiefs would sit in the council, and only the ones that acquired these 4 deeds would become the council. And their form of government was Upsalaga Opiwilo, or smoke talk, where they would use the pipe. And whatever the majority of that, the chiefs, whatever they decide, that was the direction the tribe would go. And that was the case until 1948, when a constitution was adopted by the Crow people, and a unique general council form of government where you needed 100 members of the tribe to make a quorum, and they elected within the membership a chairman, vice chairman, secretary, vice secretary. And that 48 constitution literally tore the tribe apart, because every 3 months they would have councils where there was actual fistfights and there was arguments, and it was out of hand, and nothing was accomplished. And it was every 3 months, there was no stability, no continuity. And today, in 2001, we adopted a new constitution with a 3-branch government with separate powers: executive, legislative, and judicial. The executive branch, which I'm a part of, have 4 elected officials, and we're the ones that negotiate on behalf of the Crow people, whether it be energy development or any type of development. The legislative branch, 18 members, there's 6 districts on the reservation. 3 members from each district are elected, and they approve all encumbrances of tribal lands. And then we have a judicial branch, 3 judges, 1 chief judge, and interprets the meaning of the laws, applies laws to individual cases, and decides if laws violate the Crow Constitution. And in order to practice in the judicial branch of the Crow tribe, you have to pass what we have as a Crow bar exam that you have to pass in order to practice in the Crow judicial branch. And that's just our government structure. In 1974, located on northeast corner of the Crow Reservation on the ceded area just north of the reservation, where we own a lot of coal, the first trainload of coal was shipped on July 4th, 1974. Nearly 200 million tons since then. And this is Westmoreland, approximately 5 to 7 million tons per year capacity. And the cells are, the coal cells are primarily to the Midwestern Utilities, XL and Circle plant in Minnesota, and the Hardin Power plant, or who we supply with the Crow coal at Upsalaga mine. In 2004, the South Extension, IMDA Indian Minerals Development Act lease, and 2013 Track 1 IMDA lease in ceded area. The coal royalties and severance tax revenues account for 2/3 of the Crow tribe's non-federal revenue. The largest private employer on the reservation, about 120 of the best paying jobs on a reservation. This next slide shows the total coal resource owned by the Crow Nation, and it's estimated at about 10 billion tons, and this is the compliant coal. And you see where Upsalaga mine is located, where Spring Creek and Decker mine are located in Billings. Goes to show the location of where the Crow Reservation is. In 2013, the Crow tribe signed a exploration agreement with Cloud Peak Energy, in which we call the Big Meadow Project. 2013 exploration and a 5-year option to lease agreement, which would mean about 1.4 billion tons of low sulfur, high BTU coal in southeast corner of reservation. Exploration completed in 2015. And there was a sage grouse moratorium that was proposed, and we didn't wait around. The Crow tribe, we we became proactive, and the Crow Sage-Grouse Conservation Plan was completed in 2015, where we would manage the sage-grouse on a reservation. Low sodium coal for domestic markets, working with Tribe on export terminal development. So Cloud Peak and Crow Tribe are working on an export terminal project as we speak. And so this is with Cloud Peak. One thing I want to add is, in 2013, throughout the whole U.S., Crow Tribe signed 2 coal leases, one with Westmoreland and one with Cloud Peak, in a time when, coal wasn't too popular in the rest of the country. In 2008, we did a coal to liquids partnership with an Australian company, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you heard Excelergy and Rocco Fioda's presentation yesterday. And there's a full carbon capture, full carbon sequestration, carbon capture utilization, and all of this is to address the climate change for long-term utilization of Crow coal. And in 2008, Many Stars CTL project, which we set aside 2 billion tons of Crow coal. Our water rights settlement in 2010, and a lot of it is for industrial use and land. And then we have the Fischer-Tropsch process, which we looked at for up to 125,000 barrels per day of clean JP8 jet fuel and other products. And this was the plan in 2008. And then in 2009, we had a crash in oil prices and financial markets costs us to change our plans. And we started working with Excelergy Corporation on scalable direct liquefaction process, integrated approach toward carbon capture and utilizing that carbon with biofuels and biofertilizers. So it's this technology since 2008, working with MSU Bozeman, Little Bighorn College, we were able to come up with a technology where we would capture the carbon and utilize that carbon into algae pools and to make fertilizer. And we have a study, MSU Bozeman and Crow Tribe and Little Bighorn College, Excelergy partnered to have an actual carbon capture utilization, and that carbon capture would then be placed in algae pools to make fertilizer. And a lot of the studies showed that the plants that were planted with this carbon capture utilization were basically on steroids. They're miracle grow for a lot of these plants. And we're doing some pilot testing this year. We just spoke with our natural resource cabinet head to set aside 10 acres of land that is irrigated, 10 acres that is not irrigated, and we're going to continue testing this technology. But we're doing this with the help of Department of Energy, which has been, like pulling teeth, but we did get some funding through Department of Energy to keep this project going. And I think the future of coal is with coal conversion and capturing the carbon. I know a lot of the people that are against coal is a lot of times it's for and emitting carbon, the CO2 into the air, and pollution. And in this case, we're capturing the carbon and utilizing it for consumption, which would be wheat, barley. America's abundant coal resource, 240-year supply, can be transformed into ultra-clean transportation fuel with existing reliable technology, which is environmentally responsible and safe. And I think we've talked about this, the military folks that talked about fuel that is secure within our borders, fuel that is the world's single largest supplier of energy, fuel that will generate jobs here at home, and fuel that keeps U.S. energy dollars from flowing to foreign producers. And this is the coal resource that we do have. And just recently, we made an announcement that we're pursuing hydropower. And just yesterday, I signed a storage allocation agreement with the Bureau of Rec on the Bighorn River to pursue the hydropower, 300,000 acre feet that will be calling to get to the hydro project. The Crow tribe has the exclusive right to develop and market power generation on the Yellowtail Afterbay as part of the Water Settlement Act in 2010. Energy Development Fund of $20 million was set aside within the Water Compact to assist with the project financing. BOR hydropower studies have been in place since the 1970s, in which we are, getting off the shelf and looking at, as we speak, preliminary studies in 2011 and 13 estimates a 9 megawatt generation capacity. And this 9 megawatt generation, there's 4 power purchasers within a half mile from the site. Front-end engineering and design, environmental review currently underway. The water allocation agreement from Bighorn Lake, we just signed that yesterday. The hydropower facility will improve the Bighorn River fishery. It will reduce the gas bubble trauma, for the fish, and a lot of the Friends of the Bighorn, the Rainbow, the Trouts Unlimited, all have endorsed this hydropower project. It reduces the gas bubble trauma for the fish, and which is a good thing for the fishermen who enjoy that Bighorn River. So this will improve that fishery, in which we are very excited. And this is the Afterbay project. The Yellowtail Dam, behind the dam is the storage allocation that we'll be calling for. And basically, our water will be turning those turbines, and we're still talking with BOR, trying to be compensated for, because our water will be turning those turbines to get to the Afterbay. Afterbay is just downstream from Yellowtail Dam, so that's another discussion we'll be having with BOR. This is the Yellowtail Dam, Bighorn Lake and River. The Yellowtail Dam, it basically separated the whole tribe. There was, many of you are familiar with Crow Fair. When this dam was proposed, the Crow tribe was literally in two groups, River Crow and Mountain Crow. And the River Crows were the ones that supported the dam. The ones that were against the dam were the Mountain Crows, and it literally divided the whole Crow tribe. And today that dam represents physically water, but for us spiritually, it's been holding our wealth as a tribe. The tribe was offered $2.5 million when this dam was built, and to date that dam has made $600 million. The site was condemned, taken from the Crow people, and built without approval, and we were compensated as a tribe for $2.5 million. But to date, the federal government has made $600 million off of this dam. And today, after signing that storage allocation, we want to move forward and recognizing and seeing some of that revenue coming from that hydropower plant. In 2005 to 2008, renewable energy to balance fossil fuel projects and all of the above energy approach. The tribal anemometer studies, the measurements in 2005 to 2008 indicated that there was ample class 4 and 5 wind power in the southwest portion of the reservation next to the Yellowtail Dam in that area, close to the grid. There's 4 power lines coming in to the Yellowtail Dam, and this could support several hundred megawatts of wind generation. And it's in close proximity to several high voltage power lines for delivery to market. So the wind energy, the studies have been done since 2008, but no one's knocking on our door to build wind energy. We have people coming in to buy coal, to do other, but nope, people always say, you gotta push renewable, push renewable. Crow Tribe has done the studies, they're sitting there. Nobody's knocking our door down to do wind energy. We have an abundance of bentonite. Many of you know it's used in oil drilling fluid, variety of products ranging from cat litter to iron foundries to high value specialty products such as cosmetics, the ladies that put on the makeup, that's from bentonite. The USGS studies of Yellowtail District Crow Reservation in 1950s estimate tens of millions of tons of midnight resource. A local family-owned company in Billings is interested in exploring, and we've been talking to them. Initial sampling program in 2008 and 9 identified several large areas with development potential depending on quality determined from further exploration. And this is mined by shallow mining pits with complete reclamation, very tight location parameters, quality control, another potentially significant income and employment source, and those studies have been completed since 2009. And the bentonite area, looking at the map, just from Billings, you could see the green area is all the bentonite resource area. And we did do some studies, and this map shows all the bentonite in the area. And then we did some studies on limestone. In 2009, Division of Energy Minerals Development undertook a reservation-wide survey for potential limestone development. And coring program focused on Sage Creek, south of Pryor, identified 500 million tons of tribally owned limestone resource, Madison limestone. Extensive quality analysis of 480 samples suitable to support a 2 million ton per year greenfield cement plant with mercury and carbon capture technologies. Also suitable for flue gas, FGD, and coal-fired power plants. The limestone is in close proximity to an existing rail line, and it's on the south end of the reservation. And if you go back and see where Warren is, just north of there is where the bentonite, just south of Pryor, between Warren and Pryor, there is where the limestone is located. Enough limestone to create a cement plant. I know in Montana, the cement plants have been shutting down because of Montana regulations. The Crow tribe, we follow the federal regulations, not necessarily the state regulations. So, that's an opportunity for us to pursue this as well. And we've been talking to cement plant operators and, to pursue this. So that's another area. Right now, President Obama is pushing, transportation, all the roads, the bridges, upgrading all of that. So it'll be an opportune time to do the cement plant. Just this past year, Government Accountability Office, Indian Affairs, the Senate asked for a GAO report on development on Indian lands. And, this report, there's a website there if you want to take a look at it and go into depth about the GAO report. But one area that we've realized, and this is one area where the state of Montana, you could walk in, get a lease area for, say, if you're going to drill oil and gas, you spend maybe $50. But on Indian land, you have to spend $6,000 just to get that permit. And it takes nearly 2 years to get through the bureaucratic red tape of the federal government. And so there's a lot of missed development opportunities. We have an abundance of resources, but there's a lot of missed development opportunities. And one case in particular, we had a company come in, we signed the lease, legislatures, the executive branch, we agreed to the terms. We submitted to BIA. From that point to the time they drilled, it took 2 years. And so there's a lot of missed development opportunities. That's another hindrance to development on Indian land. Lost revenue and jeopardizing viability of the projects. And the GAO made recommendations, and we're hoping that the Interior will take a look at these recommendations and pursue them, because a lot of this affects, right now we're fighting one battle with the coal, but we're fighting the federal government on being accountable as well, and because of the trust responsibility. And throughout this whole conference, I've heard, panelists, presentations in the breakout rooms, that we're all shooting for one goal, which is having a better Montana. having more jobs in Montana. But, we had a group of like NGOs setting up at Yellowstone County, the courthouse, opposing this conference. And we have renewable folks here wanting to, pursue their technology. And sitting here, I guess our goal as people here in Montana, all of Montana citizens need to work together for a better tomorrow. All of us have the same goal, whether it be renewable, fossil fuel, or conventional energy, whether we're Indian or non-Indian, regardless of our political affiliation, whether we're Democrats, Republicans, or independents, or if you don't believe in politics, any political affiliation. I think we have the resources, we have the technology, all the people that presented on technology, we have the manpower. I have a 32% unemployment rate. All the reservations in Montana are above 30%. At the end of the day, I think we can all achieve the all of the above energy approach as a state. At the end of the day, I am Montana. My children are Montana. The Crow tribe is Montana. Blackfeets, Northern Cheyenne, Cree, Chippewa, Flathead, Sioux, Gros-Ventre, Assiniboine, all the tribes in Montana are Montana. Your children, your grandchildren are Montana. So I guess it's safe to say that we all need to unify, come together, and work together for a better Montana for all of us. And the reason why I'm saying this is all of us have the same goal. We're all wanting to go in our different directions. The renewable guys don't want to partner up with the fossil guys. The Democrats don't want to partner with the Republicans. And that's, our own worst enemy is us. We got to work together. The coal people need to work with the wind energy people and the power plant people. And it's at the end of the day, we're all Montanans. We got to all live here. But the only way we can achieve all of these things that we're wanting to pursue is to work together as one nation, as one state, not identifying that guy's a Democrat, that guy's a Republican, that guy's Indian, that guy's non-Indian. That's not the case. If we want to survive and we want good paying jobs, we need to work together. And if there's any questions on any of these presentations, that's the information. And I thank you, and God bless.
Chairman Old Coyote, your closing remarks there reminded me of Rick Warren. He said a couple years ago, they asked Rick Warren, are you left wing or are you right wing? And Rick said, I'm the whole bird. I think we think about energy, and there's another saying that says, if a bird's only flying with one wing, it's flying around in circles all the time. And this really, I think, is something of coming together. Chairman Old Coyote, your words were well spoken of the need to try to allow good, logical, common sense and science drive this discussion, and truly the future of our state and for our children and grandchildren, and the future of the security of our nation.